Okay, so remember they are changing my voice. This video is about my official stance on why the cloud in the Bible is figurative. The cloud that Jesus, as a character in the story, comes back on. Of course, it's superimposed on my soul, on me, what have you. And this is part 2. So let's quickly go over a part of Isaiah 30. Then let's go over Ezekiel 38 to really overkill the context here. Isaiah 30. See, the name of the Lord comes from afar with burning anger and dense clouds of smoke. There's another connection there. There's the cloud as a collection of water and clouds of smoke because the wickedness burns like a fire, as it says in Isaiah. Okay? And so the smoke of their torment, right? They're in the realm of the dead and their souls are being burned while they're still here. They're rotting in hell, and then they're going to be marshaled off to where their path takes them. See, the name of the Lord comes from afar with burning anger and dense clouds of smoke. His lips are full of wrath, and his tongue is a consuming fire. Right? Not like the frats you see, and the military and the police, and how they're merged with fraternities and corrupt people and corporate people. You see the same with the Western martial arts. That's not the spirit of God, right? That's the spirit of frat joking. You know, G.I. Joe and Joe King, right? They're joking around. Okay, like WWF people. And I'm sure these days, if you lived in 2023 and you're hearing this, you know that I'm right beyond any doubt. Okay. He places, excuse me. His tongue is a consuming fire. His breath is like a rushing torrent, rising up to the neck. He shakes the nations in the sieve of destruction. He places in the jaws of the people a bit that leads them astray. Okay? And when we're going to see in Ezekiel 38, when we get there, it talks about how, in verse 4, how that happens, right? I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws, and bring you out with your whole army, your horses, your horsemen fully armed, and a great horde with large and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. So the evil spirit that he's allowed them to be in brings them out. He places in the jaws of the people a bit that leads them astray. And it's not through, Jewish magicians and mystics and people in frats and Freemasons and people like this, not sorcerers and mages and sages. And, these people are just nerds playing sick games, right? It's the Spirit of God allowing these things to occur, and there's a bunch of weirdos trying to confuse who's doing what. Okay. And you will sing as on the night you celebrate a holy festival. Your hearts will rejoice as when people playing pipes go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the rock of Israel. The Lord will cause people to hear his majestic voice, right, his actions, and will make them see his arm coming down with raging anger and consuming fire, with cloud burst, thunderstorm, and hail. Not only is it logical to connect the cloud to martial arts, not being a scientist or magician or mere priest or mere pope or mere president, mere military general, what have you, mere inventor, but they emphasize that. In Isaiah 30, they said, no, you people are all wrong. It's a martial art warrior that embodies it, who's set apart. Said, and will make them see his arm coming down with a raging anger and consuming fire, with cloud burst, thunderstorm, and hail. The voice of the Lord will shatter Assyria, and his rod will strike them down. So it says arm coming down, right, with cloud burst, thunderstorm, and hail. Okay, that cloud, it comes back on that strike, that martial arts strike is part of his spirit. Okay, the voice of the Lord will shatter Assyria. With his rod, he will strike them down. His royal African falcon martial arts strike, right? We know that from Genesis in the Table of the Nations, where it says, Ham begot Cush, Cush begot Nimrod, Nimrod founded Babylon. And Gog and Magog and people like that corrupted the Babylonian system, the Assyrians. And it fell. Babylon the Great has fallen and has become a dwelling place for every detestable bird and demons and unclean animals, etc. It says in Revelation. So we see Gog and Magog is connected to Ashkenaz, right? Japheth and Gomer and Ashkenaz. And you have the Ashkenazi Jews and the Sephardim and the other converts who merged with them to make up the modern Jewish groups, who are one of the groups that are named as rebelling against God and surrounding the chosen of God, where the flesh means nothing and the spirit means everything. And the Bible talks about people who go on about endless genealogies instead of judging by the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order scale, where it says Nimrod was a mighty warrior before the Lord, okay, mighty hunter before the Lord, the first mighty warrior, the most mighty, what have you. And he founded Babylon. And Abraham, champion, Ham, champion, how it's spelled, okay, the champion of God, Psalm 19, okay, the bridegroom, the champion, Psalm 19. Abraham was born in Ur, Chaldea, in the Babylonian area. And he heard the proverbial saying, like Nimrod, a mighty warrior before the Lord. And we also see that there's a bunch of racist rabbis, it's like those racist clan members who try to twist it, like the Mormons, who at least some of their factions said that Canaan represents all black people. It doesn't. Ham, right, and Cush and Canaan aren't the same people. They have different descendants. Cain and Abel aren't the same people, okay, but they are both the children of Adam. And so we see that straightened out here. Again, Ham begot Cush, Cush begot Nimrod, Nimrod founded the Babylon. Babylon was right with God. He's a mighty warrior for the Lord. Psalm says the arrogant can't stand in the presence of the Lord. Only the righteous, when it comes to people on this planet. When it comes to the devil and Job, that's a different story. We see in the New Testament as well, where the person testifying on Jesus' behalf, he gave him sight. He says that we know that God doesn't listen to the wicked, only to the godly person that does his works. We see in Amos 9:7, it says, are you not the same as the Cushites unto me, O children of Israel? And these things and other things make it clear that it is a Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order. Okay, martial arts again. Okay, let's go back to verse 30 again. The Lord will cause people to hear his majestic voice. It will make them see his arm coming down with raging anger and consuming fire, with cloud burst, thunderstorm, and hail. The voice of the Lord will shatter Assyria, right? Assyria, not Cush. With his rod he will strike them down. Every stroke the Lord lays on them with his punishing club will be to the music of timbrels and harps as he fights them in battle with the blows of his arm. So his arm coming down, he's striking them with the rod. Every stroke he lays on them fights him in battle with the blows of his arm, specifically the blows of his arm. Topheth, play on words for top heat, has been long prepared, has been made ready for the king. Its fire pit has been made deep and wide with an abundance of fire and wood. The breath of the Lord, like a stream of burning sulfur, sets it ablaze. Why top heat? It's like a jigsaw puzzle. It has something to do with the top martial artist who's in a hot place, as opposed to, for example, the police force, the pole ice force, right? The pole is a phallic symbol, the penis, right? It's a rape idea. They're in the system of rape by deception. We see with the frats and the military and all these groups. We see it so pervasive in Western culture. 1 in 4 females are said to be raped in their lifetime, and so on and so forth. And 1 in 4 are sexually assaulted and molested by the age of 18. So it's a rape culture. They're enforcing that rape culture in the policies, pole icy, and justice, just ice, and malice, male ice, and practice has the word ice in it, and so on and so forth. You see, the therapist, the rapist, okay? The medicine, medic, paramedic, rape, para becomes rape, medic, okay? That's part of their Babylonian magic spell and spelling. Okay. So obviously they're trying to cheat the heat, right? See heat, cheat, you get it. So we must interpret it in a way that is fair and just. Like it says in Isaiah 28:17, make righteousness and justice the measuring line and plume line. The wicked people who play stupid, we see that in Isaiah 34, I believe it is, where it says chaos and desolation is their measuring line and plume line. And who's in what area spiritually in their state of being, what have you, not psychology and Western psychology and church trance states, okay, but in reality. So we see how that's that. Now, I wanted to at least start Ezekiel 38 in this. Matter of fact, let's just start it, and we'll continue in the next video. Ezekiel 38, the Lord's great victory over the nations. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. Prophesy against him and say, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am against you, Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. He's against him. But part of the storm of the Lord is having demons harass people like in popular culture and abuse them and rape them and kill them and rob them and so on and so forth. Okay, but they're not right with God. Okay, woe to you destroying mountain. In Jeremiah it says that, woe to you destroying mountain, when you are done destroying, you will be destroyed. I will turn you around, put hooks in your jaws, and bring you out with your whole army, your horses, your horsemen fully armed, and a great horde with large and small shields, all of them brandishing their swords. At this time, they knew that technology was advancing. They didn't think, hey, the 2,000 years from now, they're going to have swords and shields still. They're referring to their weapons, to their way of thinking, to things of that nature. And we see to this day, the craftsmen are still shaped like people who were armored back in the day, right? And you see the military and the police and the shape they have and how they carry packs and do things a certain way, have certain workout regiments and so on and so forth. Okay, diet and deity, right? Work out versus working in, and they're actually working to go in because they're not truly sane, they're insane. They're pointed down into the earth